What's going on, guys? This is for the fans. Aston Villa 1, Manchester United 3, and it's your match review. I've never seen a team that is so good in coming back from losing positions into games and winning games than Manchester United. I've never seen, in all the years I've been watching football and being a student of the game, I've never seen this. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel right now so you can see more content of this quality. It's so much resilience, guys, that Manchester United has. Time and time again, we come back from losing positions to win the game. Not just to draw the game, but to win the game. But you know what the key is, guys, to do that? It's getting that first goal. The moment you get the first goal, the floodgates open. And it's key because in the when we're versing big teams, we can't do this. We've seen in the Champions League and stuff like that, big teams won't allow you to come back into the game. But when you're versing the smaller teams in the league, which there's more smaller teams than big teams, you will come back into the game because once you get that first goal, then the pressure starts on the smaller teams. And smaller teams can't cope under pressure. They pour under pressure. That's why they're small teams. That's why they have small players, because small players cannot cope under pressure. Small players make wrong decisions under pressure. So the key is to get that first goal, because once you get that first goal, even if you're losing 2-0 or whatever the case is, get that first goal and you can come back into the game, because then there's pressure on them and they cannot cope under pressure. You know what? And the decision making under pressure is so bad. And you know what distinguishes a good player from a mediocre player, or a good player from an average player, is not so much the talent, it's decision making. The ability to make the right decisions at the right time. That's what separates the top players from the average players. You look at someone like Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho doesn't have bags of talent. He is talented, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have bags of talent. When you speak of bags of talent, you look at someone like Phil Foden. Phil Foden is more talented than Jadon Sancho. You look at someone like João Felix. That boy got enormous amounts of talent. But the reason why Jadon Sancho is on the same level and podium as those players is decision making. Jadon Sancho makes the right decisions each and every time he gets the ball. He's only 21 years of age, but his decision making is that of a 29-year-old player. And that's something that, guys, you can't teach. That's something that's inside the player, his footballing IQ, to understand where he is on the pitch and understand where his teammates are, and to get the ball, just for example, on the edge of the box, and to understand, you know what, there's a player in a better position than me. Instead of shooting, let me play that player in. Look at Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling got a bit of talent, but his decision making is so bad. Even Gabriel Jesus got talent, but his decision making is so bad. They always make the wrong decisions. And that's what I'm saying separates Jadon Sancho from other players. Is Jadon Sancho decision making is A1. And that's the thing with the small players for teams like Aston Villa. Their decision making is so poor. So poor. They're always making the wrong decisions. Always. You look at the penalty that Aston Villa gave away. I mean, that was so bad. The player tackled Paul Pogba from the back. Paul Pogba was going away from goal. He was in their box. He was going away from goal. The player did not need to make that tackle, yet he made that tackle because he was under pressure. That's what I'm talking about. Small players, they make wrong decisions at the wrong time. He costed his team, because once you allow Man United to get one goal, we will open the floodgates and we will get 2 and 3. And that's what you saw in this game. It was an average game. We did not perform well. Not by a long stretch of imagination. We did not perform well. So much so that I'm even struggling to give you guys a man of the match. I don't know who was the man of the match in this performance, because every player was not at their best. Not one player was at their best. If I have to probably give a man of the match, I'm going to give it to Luke Shaw. Even though Luke Shaw's statistics during this game is not fantastic, but what you saw with the eye, you could at least see Luke Shaw's running beyond Paul Pogba. He's getting involved in the attacking game, and obviously no one can just go past him defensively. So I think you have to give it to Luke Shaw. But Everybody else was not performing to their best. Everybody else. The first goal, guys, you have to look at Mason Greenwood obviously trying to dribble in his own half in a dangerous area. You look at him. Then you look at Fred and Scott McTominay. They were so close to each other. These are our central midfielders, yet they're so close to each other. No communication. Fred bobs the ball to McTominay, and as a result, they both give it away. That midfield, we can't continue with this midfield come next season. Next season, we need to challenge for this title because our players, the caliber of our players, especially the top end of the pitch, we've got world-class players. We've got match-deciding players. We need to challenge for the league next season. We cannot challenge with Fred and McTominay in our midfield. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to figure it out as to what he's going to do. Either he's going to play with one holding midfielder, or he's going to take either Scott McTominay out or Fred out and put Donny in the pivot. I don't know. But Ollie needs to figure it out because we can't continue with these boys. Fred and Scott McTominay are not good enough together. Scott McTominay should never be starting a game for Man United. This boy, I said this when he first came onto the scene under Jose Mourinho. I said this boy should have never graduated from the academy. He's not good enough to graduate from this academy. Or if he graduated, we should have loaned him out and sold him. He's not good enough. This boy is not a footballer. The only thing Scott McTominay does is run around and kick people. That's why whenever we don't have the ball, you see so much of Scott. You see Scott here and there and pulling people and kicking people. But the minute we have the ball, you'll never see Scott. Why is that? Because that's not his game. Scott McTominay is not a footballer. He wants to run around and kick people. When you have the ball, you can't run around and kick people. You need to be a footballer, and he's not a footballer. He's got no composure on the ball. His decision making on the ball is poor. He can't pass the ball. He's just not a footballer, and he should never be starting a game for Man United. So all he needs to figure that out, because that midfield is too bad. It's bad. And then you go to Victor Lindelof for the goal. Victor Lindelof is weak on the ball. And it's not the first time we've seen it. It's not the second time we've seen it. We always see it. He's weak on the ball. And that's what you saw for the first goal. Wonderful strike from Traore, who for me was Aston Villa's best player. By far. He was the player that was making things happen. He looked like the most dangerous player. And it was a wonderful strike from him. The keeper had no chance. But you have to look at people like Victor Lindelof and Scott McTominay and Fred. They were at fault for that goal. And Victor Lindelof was weak in that situation. And even in the second half, he was weak as well. There was a moment that he was favourite for the ball. And the Aston Villa player shrugged him off the ball. And I think I can see why Ollie prefers Maguire over Victor Lindelof. I think I can see. I don't agree with it, but I think I can see it's because Victor Lindelof is too weak on the ball. He's too weak on the ball. So that's the first goal, and then we get a penalty. As I'm saying, Aston Villa player makes the wrong decision at the wrong time. There's no need to foul Paul Pogba. He's going away from goal. He's going away from the danger area. Why foul him? And that's something that I'm telling you, small players do and small teams do. Whereas when you look at like in Champions League, semi-finals, quarter-finals, semi-finals in Champions League, the big teams, they'll never do that. The big teams will never make such a silly error like that. Because why? Because they're big players. They know about making the right decisions at the right time. So that player made the wrong decision. He fouled Paul Pogba, 100% penalty. We know Bruno Fernandes doesn't miss penalties. I think Bruno scored like something like 21 out of 22 penalties, something like that. But he's got an amazing statistic when it comes to penalties. He does not miss penalties. If you're asking me, I think the best penalty takers in Europe, I think it's number 1, Cristiano Ronaldo, and number 2, I think it's Bruno Fernandes. I'm dead serious. First, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's been doing it a longer time, and that guy just never misses. Cristiano Ronaldo just never misses a penalty. He puts it in the corner. Even if the keeper dives the right way, Cristiano Ronaldo will still score because he puts it in the side netting. The keeper can't save that. So it's first Ronaldo and it's second Bruno Fernandes. He's outstanding from penalties. Bruno had an average game today, but he scored a penalty, so it looks good on the stat pad. It looks good on the stat pad, and it's something Bruno has been doing for large parts of the season, especially from, I think, late December to about now. His performances have been average. Apart from, I think, the last week or the last 2 weeks, Bruno's definitely picked his performances up, but it's not the Bruno that we know from beginning of the season. So I just want to make you all aware of that, guys, if you're watching, is that understand players that may stat pad, and understand players that give you total performances. When people were comparing Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne, I was thinking to myself, are you out of your mind? Kevin De Bruyne is world class. Bruno's not at the level of Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne runs games for Manchester City. From minute 1 to minute 90, Kevin De Bruyne is the best player on the pitch. Bruno does not give Man United that. Bruno performs in moments. He still needs to get to that level. So I'm not saying Bruno's a bad player. Bruno's top class. But Bruno's not world class. He still needs to sharpen areas of his game. You cannot compare him with KDB. The player you can compare with KDB is Pogba. Now, Pogba also had an average game. Majority of our players had an average game. Every player on the pitch had an average game. Every player. But that's the player you compare with Kevin De Bruyne as Paul Pogba. They at the same level. But you can't put Bruno there. Bruno scoring penalties. And it looks good on the stat pad. But he's scoring penalties. But don't get me wrong, he still needs to score a penalty. So we scored our penalty 1-1. And from there, I knew. Game over for Aston Villa. Because they're a small team. They can't cope under pressure. Mason Greenwood's goal was top class. And that's Mason Greenwood in a nutshell. Is that his overall game, he still needs to sharpen up. His overall game, he still needs to improve dramatically. Dramatically, it needs to improve. And I think that's why also for me, we need to go inside Jadon Sancho. It's because Jadon Sancho is ready-made. The boy is 21 years old, but he plays like a 28-year-old. He's ready-made for that right wing to give us a total performance, something that Greenwood is not giving us. But Greenwood, he's an excellent finisher. He's a world-class talent. World-class talent and a world-class finisher. And look at the goal. I mean, he got the ball on the half turn, spun the defender and just hit it with his left foot. He took one back step, guys. One back step and he hit that ball. But he hits the ball so true. He hits the ball so true and with such ferocity that the goalkeeper has no chance. And that's Mason Greenwood's game. He's an outstanding finisher. And we've got many players like him that are outstanding finishers. The moment the ball leaves their foot, you're thinking, yo, this can be a goal. Mason Greenwood is one. The second one is Bruno Fernandes. The moment the ball leaves the ball leaves his foot, you're thinking, hey, this can be a goal. And we have players that can decide games by their own. This game won because of our coaching. I mean, you watch the game. You never see any patterns. You never see us moving the ball well. Our goals were a penalty and Mason Greenwood just doing what Mason Greenwood does. That's not coaching. There's no coaching there. We won the game because of individual brilliance. Our individual brilliance is so high. And that's why if you're asking me, guys, I would say we should have challenged Manchester City this season. Now, I'm 100% sure when this league finishes, we will be close to City. The points difference will probably be about 3 points. If you're asking me, it'll probably be about 3 points, 4 points. I don't think it'll be more than 4 points, our difference to Manchester City. But we did not challenge Manchester City. No one can say we challenged them. We did not challenge them. And that's why I look at the coaching and the manager. And I say these guys are not good enough. Because our players are good enough to challenge Manchester City. If you're asking me about starting 11s, whose starting 11 will I take? I will take Man United starting 11 over Manchester City. Let's run through it. Their keeper and their defense, we'll take Manchester City's. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. The midfield. We've got Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. They've got Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan. Which midfield are you taking? I don't know about you, but I'm taking Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. So I'm taking their midfield, and the strike force, I'm taking our strike force. It's too powerful. So I'm probably taking Manchester United starting 11 over Manchester City's. We've got players that in the blink of an eye can change a game. Manchester City got that in bits, but I don't think they got it to the level that we have. So we're supposed to be much closer to Manchester City, guys. So that second goal, Mason Greenwood's goal, was outstanding, and that's Mason Greenwood's game in a nutshell. He has to improve his overall total performance. It has to improve the ability to hold the ball, the ability to beat a man, the ability to run at his fullback. He has to improve it. But you know who Mason Greenwood reminds me of? He reminds me of Mohamed Salah a lot. These guys are, you can play them in a number 9 position, and they more or less like strikers, but they're playing on the wing. So the minute they get the ball, their first thoughts are to cut in and shoot. And that's Salah's game. But Salah, because of his age, also has more to his game. His hold-up play is world class. He's so strong on the ball, and he takes his fullback on. And so Mason Greenwood just needs to refine his game. I think Greenwood needs to watch some videos of Salah and see how Salah plays, because they more or less play in the same way. They want to get the ball and they want to shoot. And both of them are clinical finishers. So that's Mason Greenwood's goal, world class, and he's a world class talent. Then you get Cavani, who, I mean, this guy got, let me just read his stat for you to make sure that I'm reading it correctly. He's got 8 goals in 7 games. 8 goals in 7 games. He's got a lot of those goals against Roma. A lot of those goals he got against Roma, but he's been outstanding for us, and I think he's justified at number 7 on his back. For years, once CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo left Manchester United, we've struggled to replace that number 7. Cavani came and he's justified at number 7 on his back. Now, Cavani is not a long-term option. I 100% I know that. Cavani is going to give us one more season next season, and that's it. And I don't even think Cavani will perform at the heights that he's performing this season next season, because he's old. He's going to be 1 year older. He'll lose some of the pace that he has. He's going to lose some of the sharpness. That just comes with age. When you get beyond your 30s, that's what comes with it. So I don't think he'll be as good as he was this season, but he has justified that number 7 on his back, and he's been a top class signing, and none of us saw this. No fan can say they knew Cavani was going to do this. I knew Cavani was a good signing. I always liked Cavani. From his PSG days, I knew he was a bad boy in front of the net, but I did not envision him having this impact. I did not. Marvelous signing, and he's still a world-class striker. I don't care what anybody says, this boy is still a world-class striker. And when we don't play with Cavani, we don't play with a number 9. It's like we play with a false 9, because Rashford is not a number 9. The boy cannot play number 9. Greenwood at present moment cannot play number 9. So whenever we don't play with Cavani, we play with no 9. It's like we play with a false 9. You saw that especially in the first half. Marcus Rashford once in the box. He was on the left wing. So Cavani's run for that goal. Guys, you must understand about passing and moving. Movement creates the passing. If there's no movement, you cannot pass. You can have Paul Scholes, Pirlo, Xavi Alonso in the same team, but if no one is moving, they cannot use their passing skills. The same like Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is one of the best passers in the game. I'll probably say top 2, top 3 best passers in the game. Probably top 2. But with all his talents of passing and his range of passing, he cannot execute it because there's no movement ahead of him. But what you saw from Cavani was movement. You saw his run. He made a run from the edge of the box to the center of the box. Rashford with a good cross, excellent assist. And Cavani's head, guys, you need to understand, his head is so good. I think this is the best. I think he's one of the best strikers I've seen using his head. One of the best with his head. And I love headed goals. Cavani, what a signing, world-class striker, and I'm happy he's staying another season. So man of the match, I said it's Luke Shaw, guys, because none of our players played to their best. None of our players caught our eye. They all made mistakes. They were all average. So I probably will give it to Luke Shaw because I did see more of Luke Shaw. I saw what he was doing. Wan-Bissaka, I don't know how Oli chose Wan-Bissaka over Cancelo. Wan-Bissaka, one-on-one defending, outstanding. He made a block also, a very good block on the edge of the box or in the box. Very good block, but guys, that guy is a liability going forward. He gives us nothing at all going forward. Nothing. And people say, oh, he's going to get better. I beg to differ. Because it's you look at his technical ability. Don't worry about he's going to get better. He doesn't have the potential to get better going forward. Look at the raw material that he has. The raw material that he has is his technical ability. Look at his technical ability. He doesn't have any. It's not like a player that has technical ability where you can say, okay, he just needs more experience. Like Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood got the technical ability to develop his game better. So with time, yes, he will become more rounded and a better footballer because he got the technical ability. Wan-Bissaka does not have the technical ability to improve going forward. So I think this is what you will see from Wan-Bissaka. Outstanding one-on-one defending. I think his defensive positions will improve. His positional play will improve because right now it's poor. We've seen it over the course of the season that his positioning is poor defensively. So I think that will improve because that also comes with experience, comes with also coaching, so that you can improve. It doesn't take technical ability to improve that. It takes your IQ and someone just training you and teaching you. But with regards to going forward, I don't think you are going to see a good an improvement from Wan-Bissaka. So that's my match review, guys. We're playing Leicester. And another thing, what you saw from Ollie with his lineup in this game is that he went strong in this game. And I think in Leicester, where we play on Tuesday, you will see probably our second team. You will see Juan Mata, Matic, Dan James, Teles, and so forth and so forth. So you will see our second team against Leicester, and we will go full strength again against Liverpool. I do think we're going to drop points in one of those two games. That's just my opinion. I hope we don't, because I want to push City all the way, even though obviously we know City are going to win the title. But let's push them all the way. So yeah, I think we will drop points along the way against Liverpool or Leicester. But I'm interested to see his lineup against Leicester, because I want to see how our squad players do. They haven't played much games. We don't know what they're about. So let's see what they do. Let's give Donny van der Beek 90 minutes. Let's see what he can do. Let's give Tuanzebe. Let's see what Tuanzebe can do. I'm interested and I'm excited to see that. That's my match review, guys. Smash a like on this video. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. And I'll see you all for Leicester. Ciao.